first of all, to understand the tree of life, you know, that's the Garden of Eden that gave life to the first humans. So basically that story, the creation, if we all understand that we weren't created just from the hominids that were here, we got a little tweak from extraterrestrials, and that's the part that Matias did not elaborate, maybe because he talks about all of that in his series in the initiation at Gaia, about our creation, basically the tree of life, the expansion, and so the garden per se, he talks about it here in a video that I will show you, where he explains basically that the ETs came, and I'll show you just a few seconds about it. It's very fascinating. So you can have, this is subtitled.
¿Qué hicieron todos estos juntos?
You see the subtitles?
Estos pobrecitos de acá.
Yeah.
En realidad no es que vinieron y hicieron así apareció un humano, sino que lo que sucedió fue que a lo largo de la Tierra los homínidos empezaron a evolucionar, empezaron a crecer, a migrar, ¿sí? Estrecho de Bering, bla, 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 todas esas cosas. Cuando empezaron a migrar los homínidos, de repente aparecen estos, los agarran, los modifican y los llevan a valles o islas escondidos para modificarlos y convertirlos en la genética adecuada para ellos. Dentro de eso, los primeros humanos. Los primeros humanos tienen una historia fundamental que para mí hoy es importante recordarla. No voy a contar toda la historia, pero tiene que ver con esta imagen. Resumiendo muy resumidamente esta historia, ¿sí? Acá hay dos mujeres y un hombre, ¿sí? ¿Se dieron cuenta de eso? Allá arriba. Y esa mujer es la serpiente. Esa mujer es la primera mujer de Adán. Miren cómo la reconoce. ¿Sí? Es la primera mujer de Adán. Adán, ya había otros humanos, pero Adán era el que mejor le salió a los Anunnaki. Entonces dijeron, este sí. Cuando sale Adán, crean a Lilith también, a la par. Lilith. ¿Les escucharon a Lilith nombrar? ¿Nunca? ¿Algunos? Lilith fue la primera mujer de Adán, la primera mujer con genética de humano sobre la Tierra en su momento de creación. Lilith representaba el puente de la sabiduría universal. A través de ella se le enseñó toda la sabiduría del cosmos, del universo. Y a él, Adán, se le enseñó cómo trabajar la tierra, cómo reinar la tierra, cómo cuidar a esa sabiduría que estaba teniendo la mujer.
All right, so just so you have an idea, but so basically he's explaining here the creation, the paradise again that people call, right? So the creation of humans. So basically he said Anunnaki, right? And those Anunnakis were what we know today as Enki and Enlil. Those two came from, he calls them, there were the Orions, and then there were the elongated skulls where his family is from, and that's the Syrians. So that's a different race. So they're not actually Orions because Enki and Enlil, they came from a different universe, and then they came here and established themselves in the Boots area. And I did a post about it. They call them the Seekers and the Seeders. We have the Seeders that were 22 genetic different races that seeded us. Thus, when we came to have Adam and Eve, the Anunnaki came, or Enki and Enlil, two half-brothers and their entourage here, to get the humans to basically work for them as slaves. So they could mine, but Enki was the good brother. He didn't like that and how it was turning out, and so he decided to actually create a different bloodline, because the enslaved humans were actually the reptilian ones, because it was half mother reptilian, and Anu, his father married a reptilian. So he was half reptilian and Lil. So he necessarily didn't look like a reptilian, but he wasn't a total humanoid in that sense. So in the race, created all the slaves, humans. Those were his bloodline. So the other brother, Enki, he was a geneticist. So he got his own blood. He created Adam after many experiments. But basically, here comes the Kundalini part, because you can do all the genetics, but if you don't lighten up that genetic, in a sense, with a spark, with a soul, that does not go on to different generations. That mutation that you just played around, that genetic is going to die on the next generation or two. So there's more to that in the field of the cellular, where there comes the energy. So how do you light up the Torus? You light up the Torus with the Kundalini, and I think I had the image of that in my other picture, but I'll show it to you after. So the Kundalini, you pull the energy of the planet, because that's the one that enlightens your pineal gland. Once it hits your pineal gland, which is like a crystal, faceted crystal, that basically lights up the whole Torus, which imagine like a whole rainbow of colors that just got ignited, went up the human, and that's when the human became enlightened, because before it was just a simple clone. So what happens is he was created. Wow. Enki realized this guy that I created actually has genetics from other ETs that have been here. So he didn't want to mess him down. He's like, I'm not going to mess with him. I'll preserve him. I'll go and hide him away. And before that, he created Eve, from him, from Adam. Not his ribs. The people call it ribs, but it's from his genetics, not his bones, but from him, Eve was created. But she's again like a simple clone. She's like Matias said, she's like the dumb version of Adam. But then the Eves became like a race. Now you have the Adams and the Eves. So now comes this lady, and she's working with the geneticist, Enki, in the ship. The Nibiru ship is where the lab was, because they have a biodome. That biodome in their language is called Eden. So that is basically the Garden of Eden. It was on the ship biodome. So basically, this lady now starts to teach the women, because they're the ones that can sustain life and do the expansion of life. So she had to talk and has the emotional part, that sensitivity that Adam didn't have. So once Matias calls her Lilith, but she's actually Ninhursag. Ninhursag is the lady geneticist. So she gives her all this idea of how she can enlighten her Torus, how she can enlighten that energy within her. And because of that, they call the people with that wisdom of the spark of that Kundalini, she's called the snake people. There are other snake people as well that were reptilians that were teaching women at the time. So there's a lot of disparity between that. Was she really a reptilian, or was Ninhursag not a reptilian? In my opinion, Ninhursag was half half Anunnaki, that from Enki's race, and half reptilian. So she probably was one of those good reptilians. Again, not all reptilians are the bad ones. The bad ones are from the Draco constellation, and those were the ones that created the Earth reptilians. Dracos cannot live here, so they created Earth reptilians. So this Anunnakis as well, I'll show you an image of them. They created their Borgs or they're clones that are the bearded guys, right? Because they can't sustain here in life. So they would get their own consciousness and put it in these beings that they created here on the planet. And then again, Enki created his bloodline with Adam, the Adamic race, and then Eve. Eve got taught by the serpent, not a snake per se. It is a person that had the knowledge of the snake, which means the enlightenment. And so what happens is Enlil, the bad guy, did not want these guys to know about it. So once he knew that they were given all that knowledge of wisdom, they were what? Expelled. Not expelled, but Enki took them away to islands. So they were never expelled, but they were taken out of the ship. The first guy, all the rest, they were taken to, now from the ship. Now they went and to be in the planet, now to be hidden in islands, because of course they couldn't stay on the biodome ship anymore, because Enlil was after them to kill them because they had enlightened themselves. So when the Genesis, the book there explains that we wanted to make them in our image. So it says there, I have that line here, and the gods say, the God says that we want them to be our image. Basically, it makes no sense that if they're gods, they're not gods, they were ETs. And that's what the religions or Christianity has been following. Yahweh was not one God, but it was all these Anunnakis, and that God that they were praying for, actually Yahweh is the bad God, Enlil. So he basically expelled them, not expelled them again, they had to be taken away. So basically that's the story of creation in that sense, which is again what people talk about, the tree of life and the paradise and the snake. And then you have the apple. Why the apple? Because the apple contains the Torus. So that's what happened. They enlightened their apple. Here's the apple. Here, the snake is telling them how to enlighten that Torus field. As you saw in the pictures, everything has a Torus field, and so does the apple. So those were symbologies that they had back then. So it's important that we know this kind of story about our origins as well, because Matias didn't tap onto that. I mean, can you imagine? He already told us so much. You're like, what? Even this video, I'm going to have to cut it down because it's a lot of information. But it's just so we have an understanding of why it's called the tree of life and the tree of wisdom. And I'm going to put back the image that we had there of that Alicia perfected it. All right. You can see it centered. All right. So as you see from the trunk, the pillars, comes the energy from Mother Earth. That's where that Kundalini comes from. Up the trunk, through all your chakras, hits your pineal gland, and the energy goes around your Torus field. There's also another energy that comes from Father Sky down to you, and that will form the other node of energy, because you have two charges, right? So each one runs a charge, one coming from the sky, another from the mother. So you need both charges to form the Torus. Remember how Jane 108 class, he was explaining the infinity, right? So that's the infinity, the Torus, and that's how it's formed from those two charges. And here we have, okay, what's the tree of life? Basically, Enki gave life. Enki gave life to Homo sapiens. And tree of wisdom, why is it wisdom? Because Ninhursag gave the wisdom. She's not necessarily the snake, not the reptilian that we know of. Again, there were reptilians teaching women. So there's some schools say, oh, she was a total reptilian, but the good one. The other, Ninhursag, She's like half snake, but that's how she's been depicted. But I'm definitely going to do a video with each one of these videos that I've been talking about so I can explain them further, because if I put this in the class, it would be never-ending class. But there's at least 5 videos that I need to add to our conversation here so we can understand and wrap everything here that we've been talking about, because we have in our DNA the adenine, cytosine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine, and all of those are basic structures for creation. So basically, those are the potentials of life, and basically all of this tree of life, they're all the potentials that can happen, and he gave life, and again, Ninhursag gave the wisdom. So one is wisdom, tree of life, tree of wisdom, and again, talking about the DNA, science only knows about 5%, the other 95% of it, they consider it junk, but it's not junk. It's just that the codes, let's call them codes, that are embedded in each have not been, activated, but they're there just like a program you have in the computer, and you're just using parts of it, but not the others are still not active, but it's all under your files, right, of that program that you run. They're sitting there in our background, but they're not activated right now, because if you activate all of those, it'll take your focus on what you have to pay attention right now in this life. So that's all information storage inside your DNA, and that was activated again by us connecting. So that's why people from the religions have always said, oh, okay, the woman is bad because at that time she was looked upon, frowned upon, because of all those ideas that the creativity, all that wisdom, they were like, did not appreciate the religions, did not want humans to understand that. So they put the woman to one side, and then the man started to, take the charge of our now patriarchal, now moving to matriarchal society, because we just let our rationale take place, and the feminine side, left side of our brain, got suppressed. Women got suppressed, that creativity and all of that got suppressed. So this is now a new change, right, of the magnetic field, in a sense, where that is starting to balance it out as well. So again, we talked a lot about a lot of things. Matias goes beyond now and talks then about the quantum reality, the vibration, and everything that resonates in the universe, how it resonates, and the particles, how everything is connected, the tree, everything is connected through that quantum realm. He also talks about the potential of that vibration that it gives us. Then he goes on to explain about Metatron. I mean, you guys who's listening, you really have to go and get that class, because it's very complex. He talks about also Metatron, because Metatron is basically a package of all the information put together. And Metatron is basically like the big server. And then you have the archangels. He explains about the archangels as well, and how each one of those represents a potential. Like Uriel is like the potential of light. So he's basically, and he's like from source, those are the potentials of wisdom, light, and all of that. Even Samael was the brightest light, and he's the one that came up with the idea, let's form matter so we can experience everything, because we just keep creating, and we can't experience anything. So don't you think it's great? We form like everything matters so we can go in and not just be the architects, okay, reading all these books, but not experience anything. So matter was created for experiencing it all. So he goes on and on about all these subjects and how all of that connects together. So just wanted to ask anything that and then Bianca, we were talking about the food, right, from the DNA, that I said we were going to get to that part after we spoke about the DNA activation. So basically, yes, the DNA affects everything. Basically, what we eat affects our DNA. Sorry. So what we eat affects our DNA. For example, take GMOs, right? GMO, genetic modified um, uh, um, organics, everything that is genetically modified now is giving humans all these sorts of diseases because it changed at cellular atomic level. It's been like, turn out to be something which it isn't. And once that is in your body, it affects all of the geometrical structure as it was perfectly made from source, passed down to us from generation to generation. And so that's why having thought in what you're eating, like example, a genetically modified GMO, that will affect your structure, your DNA. So that's why he talks about that as well. Bianca, so since we spoke about that and all of this, what do you have to say, everything that you learned with Matias class and now?
Yeah, I loved it all, and I'm so sorry it's past my bedtime, but that is also part of, having a good night's sleep. I is also part of, helping our DNA and our body. So I'm going to say good night, and thank you so much for organizing this amazing group and talk.
Yeah, we're wrapping
Thank
this
you so
up for
much.
sure. But
Good
Yeah.
night.
Yeah, sleep is very important for our DNA repair as well, or cellular repair, I mean. But so on that note, I wish you all a very good night.
Good night.
Thank you for participating.
Thank you. Big kiss. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye. Madeline?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I appreciate you doing this because this one, like, I have a different, like, I have an added perspective to the class. I mean, the class itself was fantastic. As I said, I lost my chain of thought a few times, and I had to re-listen to it again. Okay. But now especially after you sent the transcript, I'm definitely going to go read it while I'm listening to the video again. So it was fantastic, and I think I am so grateful that you told me about the class. It was great. I enjoyed every bit of it, especially the meditation after the class too. It was great too.
Yeah, there's a meditation after every class, and I'll post. This is Ninhursag that I was talking about. I'll post about this in another video, but this is the representation here in this place, which is next to Göbekli Tepe, and there's a place where you can find that on my post, and I'll post that as well here. And it was regarding, Karan Tepe. And then image of the torus field, its geometry. It takes a while to explain that, but it's from 7D. The spark ignites and creates that geometry, just like our DNA gets ignited and creates our torus field. So that spark of creation also came from 7D to 6D. 6D is the place where all matter is perceived. And thank you so much, Maslin,
No,
for
thank you.
and we shall talk more in the next class.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I will call you tomorrow. I'm
Thank
sorry about
you.
Colt. He's
Oh,
getting
your dog! I love her dog. We
yeah.
connect. We
Okay.
connect. Alicia,
Yeah.
what would you have to say?
No, I just like I loved it, and like I'm excited for module 3 now, and I feel like we'll be going into a lot of now the module 3 is the root chakra, so we're gonna be doing a lot of things there in regards to probably the serpent too coming in. We'll see.
And Alicia, I have to say, since we're having the class about chakras, right? And I mean, your product, guys, everybody, I have to plug this in. It's not because it's my friend that I'm talking about her product, but she has this fabulous high vibe spray, as I like to call it. And it's actually called Alchemist. It's a mist, alchemy mist. And oh my God, I spray it. And you know how you have tuning forks and it just like the whole energy of your space immediately neutralizes if it's dense and heavy, and you hit a tuning fork or the tuning bowls. This has the same effect, only like with fantastic smell. If you spray it like on your crown chakra, like I do it like here on my crown chakra, and are you able to see, are you seeing the image on the screen?
Yes, yes.
And I spray it on my throat chakra, in front of it.
Yes, yes.
On the skin. Oh my God, you feel the energy. It's amazing. Tell me about this, Alicia. Sorry, I've been blabbing about it.
Well, this
But
was
tell
a
me.
lot of months in the laboratory, let's say. But me playing around with different essential oils and other elements too, but just kind of going with their energies. And I don't know if you can if you can go in the pictures and just go to the next picture.
Okay. Oh,
So,
yes. Okay. That's the ingredients.
Yeah, here you have the ingredients, and you have how you can use it. So each oil or element chosen, it's because of the properties, like vanilla, rose water, myrrh. Myrrh is one of the stronger essential oils that I use, but this goes back to in Christianity, this was used a lot. And it's very transmuting, and it's and also palo, if you know the tree, it's
Yeah.
used a lot in Latin America. It's a very it's a beautiful tree that is very
Palo
much
Santo, yeah.
yeah, exactly, palo santo. It's very much protective and also transmuting, and just all of the ingredients in there are just chosen very carefully, and you can use this for so many things. Cleanse your aura, cleanse your home, protection, before any spiritual practice, any physical or healing activity or work, cleansing your belongings, just at any time.
I
Like you
know.
can even spray this on your face because it has witch
I
hazel.
have, yeah, on my chakra.
So it's good
Addicted,
for
like
your skin, actually.
when I get out of the shower and when I'm getting ready for bed as well, like I cleanse my space, or in the morning when before going to work because I'm working from home, I cleanse, so I start fresh. Every time I want to start fresh, oh, this is perfect. I really salute you for this incredible product. I feel the difference. And I think everybody should try it, have it. It's a must. I'm sorry,
Thank you.
I'm just talking about it, but and there's her shop is on Etsy, so it's etsy.com/shop/earthlove28. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's right.
you can Google it, Earth Love 28, and you'll find Etsy, her store in Etsy. And it's got other beautiful things you should check out. The flowers, oh, they're also a concoction of see, I dressed up today as a garden since we were gonna talk about the tree of life. I had to, you know, dress up as some sort of floral tree kind of thing. So I use that motif for my dress. So those flowers are beautiful too.
I just want to add that fan, those feathers beside Alchemist. So I made that last week, and it was an integration of module 1. And if you look at the name, it's called Love, Wisdom, and Will. So that triangle that we're supposed to transcend everything into. So that I created that at the end of module 1 last week. So there's
beautiful. Really amazing. So you can find her there on Etsy, and then you have also the other I mean, I started reading that and I was just like shocked. I mean, she's an author. She already has other 2 beautiful books, and now she made this book for mothers that are giving birth. And oh, so beautiful. I almost cried. And it talks about all the products as well, that earth products that you can incorporate in during your pregnancy and for your life, right? Tell me.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically it's a guide, just like about harvest, like you integrating you know, the gifts of Mother Earth into our into a woman's birthing experience. So I talk about like my floral blend. I talk about all those flowers actually in this book, and so I created that floral mix to go with this as well, but also it can be used by anybody. And it's just a whole bunch of tips, and there's even like recipes for women during labor, snacks that they can eat that can help, you know, boost your energy and just your stamina. If you're enduring a long labor, there's just tons of tips and tricks in there. So it's just something I felt called to create.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, I had this to show, but you know, we went through all of this. Thank you so much, Alicia. I mean,
No
this wraps
problem.
everything because we are just talking about the essence, and what a beautiful essence that you have there. And I
Thank you.
think we're gonna call it a night here. Barbara probably is out there working, still busy lady. I know time just is of the essence. All right. Well, I hope everybody.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Thank you,
you.
Alicia, for everything. You and Karen. You
Yes,
added a lot to
pleasure.
me today.
It's such a pleasure to be here with you guys. And
Thank you. Yeah.
you know, we chat about all these subjects, and it's just so fascinating, right? So we'll be back again talking more and exploring the universe within and the next time.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night.
Thank
Good
you so
night. Bye.
much. Good
Bye.
night. Bye.
Bye.